I call it an American blunder. For simple reason, India has been maintaining a friendly nature with all the countries around the world. And however, Trump maintains pressure on tariffs. US-India trade agreement negotiations begin. India will negotiate a separate agreement. Modi rejects Trump's claim of US mediation in Kashmir, Pakistan ceasefire. Trump was not the reason for the ceasefire that happened between Pakistan and India. As further trade war between India and US, many thought that India will negotiate to get away with the 50% tariff, but India remains strong. India should move towards a self-reliant economy, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Donald Trump's trade war is against India or Indian products, or is it because India should not grow? American blunder. Donald Trump has imposed trade tariff of about 50% for Indian products, which is getting exported to America. My dear friends, why do I call it as American blunder? In the last few months, there are two things that's happening for India from the Donald Trump's side. One is humiliation, second is vindication. My dear friends, that's the headlines of The Economist magazine that has come in the last week. It says very clearly, humiliation, vindication, and a giant test for India. Trump has triggered a trade and defense crisis. How should Modi respond? My dear friends, as soon as Trump took over as 47th President of America on January 20, 2025, from then on, fate of India-America relationship has been strained. Why do I go back on the date of his presidency? My dear friends, because if you see the timelines of the Trump tariff episode, it starts somewhere from February 2025. The chronology of the event goes like this: February month, March month, June month, July month, August month is very important to understand and critical to understand why did Trump levy 50% tariff on India. My dear friends, this attitude of America is definitely we need to condemn as entrepreneur from India, as a trade partner of America, and including our world has to sanction certain important steps taken by America. I call it an American blunder. For simple reason, India has been making efforts to align with America in most of the matters. In fact, we all know after we got independence and we got the Constitution of India, we were very clear that we will have non-alignment policy with any country. But we moved from non-alignment policy to multi-alignment policy with many countries. In fact, India has been maintaining a friendly nature with all the countries around the world. And by the way, when two countries fight, India was the first to talk about peace and try to bring harmony among the two nations. And we know this history. My dear friends, it all started in February 2025, wherein cooperation early warning was indicated in February 2025. My dear friends, February 13 to February 14, 2025, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Washington, D.C., launching India's effort to bring harmony in trade relationship on the title US-India Compact for the 21st Century initiative and aiming for about $500 billion bilateral trade by 2030. However, Trump maintains pressure on tariffs. US-India trade agreement negotiations begin. In the month of March and April 2025, trade talks happen, and also first tariff threats indicator has been provided by Donald Trump. My dear friends, on March 4th to March 6, 2025, Indian Commerce Minister visits US for technical discussion. March 26 to 29, 2025, US trade delegation in India for talks on digital trade, pharma and agriculture. On April 2, 2025, Trump administration announces 26% tariffs. My dear friends, be mindful of the rate because it's very important to understand the rate. 26% tariffs on India grants 90-day pause with expectation that India will negotiate a separate agreement. My dear friends, in the month of May to June, in the 2 months period again, regional tensions and stalled negotiations happen. India-Pakistan hostilities happen in May 2025, complicate broader diplomatic relations. And also on June 18, 2025, Modi rejects Trump's claim of US mediation in Kashmir, Pakistan ceasefire. US-India tensions move from security to trade. Trump, having been affected by this statement made by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, started bringing trade tensions between India and US. Many of the diplomatic experts claim that the rejection by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi saying that Trump was not the reason for the ceasefire that happened between Pakistan and India has further ensured that America has levied 50% trade tariff on India. That's not the case anyway. Anyway, there is a tension of trade war between India and US since the time of February, if you may note. My dear friends, in July 2025, trade escalation across trading partners happened. July 7, 2025, US extends the pause on reciprocal tariffs until August 1 for India. On July 27, 2025, US signs deal with European Union, levying 50% tariff, warns partners like including India about high reciprocal tariff if separate deals not reached. Having not budged to the US negotiations, on July 30, 2025, Trump issues order for 28% tariff in India starting from August 7, threatens 50% tariffs if unresolved by August 27. My dear friends, on July 31, 2025, broad US tariffs of 10 to 41% on 69 partners announced pending negotiations. My dear friends, finally in the month of August 2025, final breakdown and steep tariff implementation happened. My dear friends, on August 1, 2025, 25% tariff on Indian goods to US takes effect. On August 6, 2025, additional 25% tariff announced with a window of about 21 days, that is up to August 27, wherein they kept the deadline for 50% tariff. On August 7, 2025, public announcement of 21-day window was made, and accordingly 27th was fixed as a deadline. Adding to it, on August 15 to 19, 2025, US cancels planned August trade delegation to India. Indian Parliament confirms $48.2 billion trade exposure to tariffs. August 21 to 22, 2025, White House advisor Peter Navarro says extension of negotiation unlikely, expects tariff to be implemented. China signals support for India against punitive US measures. On August 23, 2025, 4-day remain till August 27, deadline on 50% tariff enforcement. Many thought that India will negotiate to get away with the 50% tariff, but India remains strong. My dear friends, what is this tariff structure all about? Up to August 7, 2025, tariff rate was about 28%. The reason and the trigger was reciprocal action and global agenda. On August 27, 2025, plus 28%, adding up to total 50%, India's Russian oil imports, Russia penalty, post-September 2025, exemption lapse for goods already in transit, full tariffs apply. In fact, the many questions that the entrepreneurs ask in India, those products which are en route to America from India, which was loaded before August 27, what is the tariff rate that will apply? Whether it is lesser 50% or 50% additional tariffs will apply. Answer is 50% additional tariff will apply even for the products which are in transit from India to US as part of its export. What is the impact of Trump tariff on India, the trade war of imposing 50%? My dear friends, US is India's top export market. Nearly about $86.5 billion, that is about 18% of India's exports, happen to US. Tariffs, when heavily imposed on India, definitely it will affect the export sector, especially textile, apparel, gems and jewelry. Adding to it, engineering and auto components will also get affected because of the tariff. One thing that need to be noted, the selfish attitude of Trump is that he has not imposed any tariff on pharma products. Reason being, the healthcare sector in America is depending upon India. It's time that India should strategically think what is their position with respect to supplying pharma products to US. At the same time, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to ensure alignment happens with the Asian countries for market access, he went to Japan to have a trade negotiations, comes back to Tianjin today to have a discussion with the SCO, that is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, where Russian president is also present. He is trying to align with China after 9 years. My dear friends, at this juncture, it is very important to understand about Regional Comprehensive Economic Program. Way back in 2019, Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi was supposed to sign the RCEP. If you may remember, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi went to Bangkok, quoted Gandhi's talisman, he did not sign on RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Program, where more than 15 countries are signatories to that RCEP. Time has come now for India to look at how they can become signatory to RCEP, considering the fact that US is sanctioning India indirectly or directly because of the 50% tariffs. By signing to RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Program, the framework will help India to have free trade agreement between many of the Asian countries across Asia, and Asia being the market of the entire world, where 2/3 of the population, we have about 7 billion population in the world, 2/3 of population is in Asia. And India being one of the trading partners of the entire world, India can become leader in the Asian market by collaborating with China. But the question that the critics ask, whether we can rely on China, whether we can rely on Russia, at the same time Asia can emerge as a market as well as a of producer and manufacturer and service exporter. The question comes today. It is not about the crisis that America has created today on India. It is a crisis that the America has created on Asia. Asia should respond to America because we thought America will be a reliable partner, and many a time, even when America sanctioned India in 2000 during Atal Bihari Vajpayee's period, sanctioned India, we signed an agreement in 2008 which had a greater impact in our trade relationship with US, but ultimately today US has proved to be an unreliable partner of trade with many of the other countries, especially India. The question here comes, why US is targeting India and Brazil? Today, US has imposed highest tariff for Brazil and India apart from Switzerland and other countries. But why is that America doing this? America is doing this to weaken BRICS, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. But the point to be noted here is BRICS will emerge very strongly in this time of crisis where America is trying to have a trade war. At the end of the day, it is a right time for India to rethink its global value chain. My dear friends, if you ask me as an expert whether this will affect India, yes in the short term, but in the long term, it will give a stable growth trajectory. We have been aiming to become a $5 trillion economy. Yes, that's an ambition we should hold. But the $5 trillion economy cannot be dependent on US. Now we know the economic behavior, trade behavior of US right now. This erratic behavior cannot be taken for granted, and also US cannot be a reliable partner. So considering it, India should move towards a self-reliant economy. Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India project has to be strengthened. Many of the Indian initiatives has to be strengthened at this juncture. Yes, India has to emerge very powerfully even after this crisis created by Donald Trump, who has a dictatorship attitude towards Asian country. As again said, this is not a crisis just for India, it is for the entire Asia. The time has come where Asia has to align itself to become very stronger. China's One China policy, China One Plus strategy, India's trade strategies, and Russian market getting accessible to India. I think in all the three countries has to come together, making Japan as a partner over a period of time to ensure India emerges as a global destination, not just for investment, not just for market access, but India emerging itself as a producer market. The time has come to rethink for the entrepreneurs, not to just depend upon export markets, but to produce product for Asia itself. Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2016, having a vision to become a global partner, has initiated an effort to transform Act East policy to Look East policy. In 2016, there was a program that he organized for Cambodia, Myanmar, Laos and Vietnam, CFLV conference, where ASEAN was looked as an important partner of India, wherein it transformed the policy from Look East policy to Act East policy, with all strategies in place with respect to trading as an important aspect of products around Asia. India will counter Trump's strategy of trade war with a lot of confidence and resilience and persistence. Of course, there will be a short-term impact of export getting affected for many of the people who do export, especially for example Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Karnataka and Maharashtra, where many of the products gets exported to America, including agriculture products. It will have a great impact on the export, and definitely there will be a downslide in the exports in the recent times, in the recent time to come shortly. But at the long term, India will emerge to be a stronger nation, because multi-country alignment policy is the policy India aims to bring at this juncture. This draconian effort by Donald Trump has to be countered with a strong measure of raising India being self-reliant economy and ensuring that laws and regulations become more friendly for the business people in India. Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi has assured two GST rate structure as part of independence speech. Whether two GST rate structure is possible at this juncture, answer is yes. He has a great vision, but it has to go through GST Council meeting, wherein the group of ministers has to agree for rate reduction. That is scrapping 12% and 28% and bringing in two rate structure of 5% and 18%. By doing this, a lot of litigation can be avoided in the GST environment. Beyond that, imposing 40% on the sinful goods, the question comes, what is sinful goods? Whether the sinful goods will be those goods which are imported from America to India. Whether India will reciprocate with a high tariff on the American products is one question that is being brought in by the critics and also by the analysts. I'm sure India will respond in a very, very strict manner and confident manner on this trade war brought in by Donald Trump. Let's look forward for more updates in the days to come about the Trump tariff. But all that I can say is India will emerge optimistic under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi with the support of all the Chief Minister, irrespective of the difference in the political ideology. It is a time for India to emerge as a self-reliant economy. I'm sure, irrespective of the political differences, even opposition parties will join hands with the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi along with the Chief Ministers to ensure every state, every union territory and as a country as a whole should emerge as a self-reliant economy, becoming leaders in manufacturing service sector. Of course, the Trump tariff is not applicable to the service sector, but it is just applicable primarily to the products. But the days are not far where even Trump can even think about levying more tariff on the service sector. Unfortunate thing that Trump has forgot to note, he may impose tariff on India, but most of the employees who work in America are Indians, including in the software companies. Considering this, Trump's decision to impose tariff seems to be not appropriate on India. Whether he will go back on this or he will stick on to this, time only has to say, but India will respond with much more confidence, with the persistence and resilience to ensure that we raise as a nation to become market leaders as part of manufacturing, service sector and agriculture. America may discount India, but India can never be discounted for the world. For a single reason, India enjoys demographic dividend. World needs India being a trade partner. India is the market for the world. Whether the structures of the global economies will vary, whether value chains will vary, there is a possibility that Indian products directly exported to US may attract tariff. What if Indian company establishes a company in a country where it has a free trade agreement and exports product from there? Whether US will levy tariff on that country as well. Tariff on India, the trade war. Donald Trump's trade war is against India or Indian products, or is it because India should not grow? Whether India will align the value chains to different countries and move forward exporting the products in the days to come. We have to wait and watch what's going to be the updates in the days to come. Thank you so much. Signing off, Advocate Dr. M. Sathya Kumar. Jai Hind.